Hi everybody, thanks for joining me for another tutorial in Melinda's Rubber Room. I'm Melinda Pierce and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm here today to show you how to make this fun fold-out card. It's actually quite easy to make, and I'll walk you through all the steps. So I'll point you down to my work surface and get right to it. So this is a card that we just made in my Zoom session. I have those every Wednesday from 10 a.m. to noon Pacific time. You're welcome to join us. I provide all of the measurements for cutting your designer series paper and cardstock ahead of time, so you can make the card along with me, and we walk through it, make sure all your questions are answered real time. So it's a fun time to learn some new things. So all the information can be found on my Facebook page at Melinda's Rubber Room on Facebook. So make sure you subscribe there. So we're going to start with a piece of cardstock, and this measures 9.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at a 1/2 inch and 2 5/8 on both sides. So same measurements over here. And that's going to be folded as a mountain fold, valley fold, valley fold, mountain fold. So it gets folded like that. And then we have some designer series paper. So this is going to be 4 inches by 5 1/4, and then we have two pieces that measure 1 7/8 by 5 1/4, and those are going to go right here. So I have a couple pieces that have a design on them, and I want to make sure I keep those for the outside. Okay, so this is where I'm going to put these pieces. This designer series paper is called Meandering Meadows. And it can be found on the online store at melindapierce.stampinup.net. And it is an online exclusive, so you won't see it in the catalog, but you can see all of the online exclusives online. So make sure you check those out, because there's some really nice things there. The paper that I used on the sample here is actually an online exclusive as well. It's the Zinnia paper. And you can see this designer series paper has really pretty designs on both sides of the paper. And I'm actually going to use both sides on this card. Actually, I think they're two different papers. Oh, no, it's the same paper. Okay, so those pieces are going to go on the card like that. And then I have two more pieces of that same designer series paper, but I'm going to put that on the other side. So before I do that, let's talk about these tabs. So don't pay attention to these lines yet. We're going to get to that later. But when you close your card, you want to make sure that the fold lines match up with each other. If they don't, if they overlap a little bit, just pull your card so that your fold lines are matched up perfectly and not overlapping, because that will interfere with how your card is going to open. And make sure you are burnishing all of your fold lines with a bone folder. You want to make sure all those lines are nice and crisp, and that way your card will fold better and it won't be quite as bulky. Okay, so moving on, we have two more pieces of designer series paper. So you can see that this is the same paper that I used on the inside, but now I'm going to use the other side of that paper. And what I've done is I've cut that down to 5 1/4 and 1 7/8. So I found a piece of the portion of the designer series paper that I kind of wanted to focus on the front. I wanted these two portions of the trees to match up. So I cut the paper down to size and then cut it in half. Okay, so these will just go on the front of my card, right on those panels. I like how the designer series paper from Stampin' Up! Just makes it so much easier to make the cards, because your designer series paper is always going to have the same colors in them. So you'll have multiple pieces that kind of coordinate, and obviously they coordinate with the outside color of the base card as well. So you can see on this one, all of these papers are all in the same paper pack, so they all coordinate with each other. And it called out the Mossy Meadow on the back of the cardstock. It tells you what colors coordinate. And so I used the Mossy Meadow as the base of my card. All right, so getting back to this piece. So now we also have a piece of cardstock that measures 3 inches by 10 5/8. And that is scored at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4 on both sides. So you'll score 2 1/8 and 4 1/4, and then rotate it around and score at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. And then you'll take that and you'll fold it like such, so that you have a mountain, valley, valley, and mountain fold. So your piece will look like that. And when you're folding it up, you should be able to fold in the right side and then the left side, just like that. And again, you're going to take your bone folder, make sure those creases are nice and crisp. Just like so. And then you'll have some designer series paper. You're going to have 4 pieces, and they all measure 1 7/8 by 2 3/4. So I'm going to put these ones on the outside, so you can see that that's all from the same paper pack. All those colors are coordinating. And then these ones are going to go right in the center here. I kind of have a lot going on in the front and in the center, so I'm kind of keeping these top pieces a little bit more neutral. I'm just going to place those right on those panels. Keep in mind that this left-hand panel is going to show on the front of your card. Okay, so now what we're going to do is take both of the panels and flatten them out on your work surface and measure out where you want this piece. It can be upper or lower or right in the center. I think I'm going to put mine right in the center. And what you're going to do is kind of make sure it's centered on the left and the right as well. And this is where you're going to make your pencil lines or your pen lines. So you're just going to go right above where that panel lays down on your cardstock and make those lines. It'll look like they were straight the first time I did that, so I'm going to remark those like so. You're going to take this off, and you're just going to go on the inside of where that line is. So I'm just going to the left of this line, and I'm going to cut that off. And I'm going to the right of this line and cut that off. Same thing on this side. Okay. I want to make sure that my card is facing the right way. So this is going up and down this way. And what I'm going to do is lay this back down flat, take my center piece, and I'm going to put glue on this center panel. And lay this back down so that it's in the center. I want to make sure that my tabs are meeting up on the outside as well. So this piece here should cover up the tabs that are underneath. Just trying to make sure that this is nice and straight all the way across. And make sure that center piece has good adhesion right there. I think I'm going to cut this tab a little bit more because it keeps wanting to show. It's better to have this tab too short, or you know, shorter this way than too long, because you don't want it to show. Okay, so I think I'm happy with that. Still looks like it's not quite straight. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is lift this up and put glue just on that little tab, and then glue this side down. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so that is the base of the card. Make sure you're not gluing down these sections here. It's just glued on the tab and on the center. And then I have a piece of white cardstock, and that measures 1 7/8 by 2 3/4. If you're going to stamp on that, you're going to stamp on that first and then glue it down. I don't know what I'm going to put on this as a greeting yet, so I'm not going to adhere that down. All right, so when you close it, you're going to close up the right side and then the left side, just like so. And if you need to, you can just kind of flatten that down a little bit if your fold lines aren't exactly where they're supposed to be. Of course, that's the first time that's ever happened to me, but always happens when I'm making a video. All right, so that's how it goes down. If you want to, you can close it with a ribbon going all the way around. And then I think what I'm going to do is put a embellishment on there. But you can see how on this one I put a stamped image right on the top, and then I stamped the inside as well. And then to have a section to write on, you're just going to take a piece of white cardstock that measures 4 inches by 5 1/4 and stick that right on the back, and you can stamp your image to decorate that as well. All right, hope you enjoyed that quick video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave that in the comments, and you can also reach out to me on my Facebook page at Melinda's Rubber Room. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that video. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope to see you next week. Thanks. Bye-bye.